come to whisper, I came to warn you. Every scar you gave me turned into armor. You fed on silence, I learned to roar. Now every step I take shakes the floor. I carry crowns you were scared to earn. Lit my own match, watched your bridges burn. You begged for power, I built a flame. Say it slow, remember the name. Look at me now, I'm broken, look at you. Still hoping I don't fold, I don't fake, I don't bend for your mistakes. I got my own, I paid in blood. Every tear turned gasoline. Hands all step back, feel the flood. I am everything you couldn't be. I got my own, I took the throne, built my empire, stone by stone. Say it loud, feel the flame. This is Brixley, remember the name. You called it love, I call it control. You wanted my body, never my soul. You needed a leash, I needed the sky. I don't survive, I multiply. I was the fire, tried to cage. Now I'm the headline, center stage. You stay small, I broke the mold. I don't get bought, I don't get sold. Watch me rise, feel the heat. Every move lands on the beat. Say my name, feel the quake. I don't ask, I take. I got my own, I paid in blood. Every tear turned gasoline. Hands on step back, feel the flood. I am everything you couldn't be. I got my own, I took the throne, built my empire, stone by stone. Say it loud, feel the flame. This is Brixley, remember the name. I don't miss you, I outgrew you. Burned the rules you tried to use. I don't know you, I don't need you. I broke free and cut you loose. You tried to shrink me, tried to train me, tried to keep me on a leash. Now I'm loud and now I'm violent. Every step is concrete heat. Don't call me, don't ask me, don't explain what I already see. I'm not healing, I'm not waiting. I'm done carrying that weight with me. I got my own, I built it hard. Every wall you made I tore apart. Hands off, back up, read the sign. I don't need you to validate mine. I got my own, I light the match. Watch your power turn to ash. Say it loud, say it plain. This is Brixley, I break chains. I don't soften, I don't stop. I don't answer to your calls. I don't flinch, I don't fold. I don't play nice, I take control. I got my own, I stand tall. I don't trip when empires fall. Say it loud, feel the flame. This is Brixley, remember the name.
Hey, Chance, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Oh my God. Aaron, can you hear the audio? Because Chance and I sat behind backstage and couldn't hear anything. So I don't know why that happened, but please let me know if anyone. Oh, thank you. Go Bricks. so he did hear it. We were looking at a blank page and I was afraid to back out because I thought I would lose the feed. And so we're good. My name is William Rochelle, but you guys can call me Bill. Welcome to Be You Live. I am here with Chance, and he is the founder of United Uprising. If anyone understands my story and why we created Be You Live, it's so that we can have decent conversations about different topics, whether we agree with them or not. I happen to follow Chance and find his post and his views enlightening. So I'd like to start with Chance. What is United Uprising?
Okay. Am I okay? Frame rate and stuff. Can you guys see me? Okay.
We can see.
Okay. United Uprising is really hard to define, and it's kind of supposed to be like that. That's the whole point. Essentially what it is instead of, we don't believe in party politics at this point. We believe whatever systems are inherently created for, whatever good intentions they may have had, be it capitalism or the two-party system, this and that, it doesn't work anymore. Most of us feel like pretty much everything is compromised. There's zero transparency, and you have, the corrupt are holding the corrupt accountable. So and a lot of us have realized over time, especially the past 20 years, that the divide and conquer tactics that exist, they're prevalent in every single facet of our society, especially politics.
Which is really taking race out of the equation. Because it's divide.
I mean,
it's divide and conquer, right? To
Yeah.
keep us divided is part of the plan.
It's so much easier if you segment everything down, and now we set those two, these two groups against each other. Boom, they're covered for a bit. We can throw some stuff their way, etc. So we sort of realized that, we found the wizard behind the curtain, so to speak, in a very general sense, and started paying attention to all of that. So basically, I'm aware of the plans of what we'll call them the elite for this show. I'm aware of the tactics. Most of us are aware of the tactics. So UU is built to effectively have a modular approach, a communal modular approach that is decentralized, basically, for people to come in and have their own independent vote on something, their own independent idea on something. And it's just, if it gains traction, if it's a good idea, it can incorporate into this, incorporate into that. But we find the common issues that we need resolved. So we don't go on the big issues that the party politics play on, pro-life and this and that. That's not the concern of this. This is to find what we have to resolve in this system, which is just effectively rebuilding all of it, to feel like for a person on the left to have an identity, a person on the right to have an identity, which I wish that wouldn't exist, but it does. We're human. It's going to exist. But in order for us to, on either side of anything, to feel okay about stuff, we have to start from like an even playing field. And it's just not that for anybody. So it doesn't, the idea of both of these parties and most all systems are all ran by the same, the same interests, the same collection of interests. So they work for the same people. They play the game. The Democrats did something successful this time, and then, oh no, now they messed up, and here comes such and such in the Republican Party back on the midterms, and he's got them on the ropes, right? And we just keep doing that shit over and over and over.
Right.
And nothing ever gets done. They'll throw you a little bit when they have to, but nothing really ever gets done. So it's essentially our way of just saying, hey, we're aware of all that, so the parties don't matter now. So this is not left, not right. This is not about party politics or tribalism. We leave that at the door. Finding our commonality and civic movement, transparency, directions, the things that we want, having, like I said, the modular, like blockchain approach of transparency, one-for-one node sort of interaction is generally what we're trying to get to. So UU is in 4 parts. So this is where it starts getting all confusing and messy. So UU is in 4 parts, but it's modular, so it's going to grow. It'll keep growing more and more. But the 4 things that we have right now are the blueprint, which is like the civic sort of document. Like it's multiple different things. It's actual like protests and things like that. Yes, but it's the real actual civic work too of transparency, how to find information about making sure that the candidates that you're following, what they're involved in, who's if they're taking larger donations, who are giving them those donations, just tracking the stuff back. On a low level, super boring stuff. So I try to inject some color into it, make it punk rock politics, but it's very boring stuff. I get that, but it must be done.
It's not boring. Can you real quick? So you said that they're all getting money from the same people. So what is APAC? And
APAC it's an interesting thing. So it's the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee. So it's not actually a PAC. All right, they've used some legalities here, and basically they just have a large amount of donors. So these donors will then contribute to these people, or the campaigns and such, but it's not directly tied to the foreign entity that is Israel. And by using this technique, they've flown under the radar. For instance, there's some propaganda that's come out where people will say, what does APAC really do? Well, let's track the numbers. And they'll look at the dollar per dollar amount of the actual donations from this or that. And it's not very much, I think it's like 50th down the list of PACs. But what they do is they operate out of those donors and these a few other routes. So ultimately, instead of that being a couple million, when you look at those numbers collectively together through the organization, you're talking about $400 million now. It's went for that candidate, which is substantial. They're not always the top on all of the candidates, but they're pretty up there. And effectively what they do is they, see, this is where it gets a little dicey, you all. I'm going to try to, this is the first time I really try to have to navigate doing this live.
You be you, man. You be you. Just say the shit like you want to say it. Go ahead.
Well, the state of Israel, as far as I'm concerned, is just a geopolitical tool. It was set up to become a country to be used as a tool for expansion in the Middle East and for in Europe. America is its Western counterpart, and they work in tandem. They always have. Ever since this country's inception, they've some precursor, to what would eventually become the state of Israel has existed in some capacity. Those people with the interest have trucked along for a very long time, and so that's kind of how I view their country. It's not real to me, in the sense of it's a tool used to commit genocide, to assassinate people, to start and organize. Trafficking rings, blackmail, extortion networks, go in and consolidate different things, media, all this stuff down. This one country is effectively used. Now, again, this is allegedly, right? I want to make sure, because they love to work in law to keep you from being able to say stuff. So allegedly, they've got a web basically going around the world, and the top leaders and the top industry heads and I mean tons and tons, and the media, entertainers, some of them just want in, and so they start playing ball and they give them a bunch of money, all this, and then some they blackmail and they say, you're going to do what we say, or allegedly, of course, you're going to do what we say. If you don't, it's going to be a problem.
Can you answer Leslie's question?
So I can't actually see the comments for some reason. What does her say? I'm sorry.
Is that on your screen? Okay.
It is, but it's.
Oh, okay. It says, what does APAC have to do with United Uprising? And I asked the question because you're looking into, basically you're saying follow the money.
Yeah, follow the money. Right. So what it has to do with United Uprising, basically, they're the Cobra to our G.I. Joe. That's kind of what it is. Israel and APAC together combined, if you want to describe them adjacent to UU, we're G.I. Joe, they're a Cobra commander. Like that's the most base way that I can put it. And so we're trying to come up with a system that exposes everything that they're doing and how it's all done deceitfully, and how APAC being used as a tool to give politicians money to then sway how they're going to vote on something. And it's not just that money, it's that money compounded with, the blackmail or the extortion, whatever's happening with them. So they use that as a way to funnel in. So that's kind of what it has to do with. So it's part of the entity of Cobra that we're dealing with. And they use it as a tool to control our politicians, essentially. Is what. So,
I have to say this. I spent many days, months in Israel, and
okay.
I have I have friends that are black. No, I have friends that are Israeli. And so I was talking to one of my friends the other day, because he was looking at one of my posts, and he said, why are you being anti-Israel? And I'm like, I wasn't being anti-Israel. What I was saying is, why are we giving billions of dollars to Israel when we have people here that have no food, and we're taking away health care, and we're taking away all that other, several different rights to Americans.
Right.
So what I want to say is that while I'm speaking, I am in no way discounting the love that I have for the people in Israel. It's similar to saying that I'm not in love with our government. And so it's more the administration versus the people. Make sense?
Correct.
That's how I view it. That's my opinion.
That's exactly how I view it too. That's how I view it too. For the most part, I think if you're born there, you live there, that doesn't make you inherently bad. I would say to people who think that, take a look around you if you live in America, because there's a lot of very patriotic people. to which I understand. I understand, because usually they're patriotic, not towards just the flag, but they're brothers and sisters. So it's the same over there. But once you as an American know what your country's doing and you're complicit with it, and you're also involved in taking part of that, then it becomes a problem. But no, our issue is not with the people of Israel at all. It's the government. It's the government. Right. It's the headship. It's our government. It's not them.
Right.
They're civilians. At the end of the day, I mean, I could be irritated maybe about their views, but that's between me, and that's personal. I ain't got nothing to do with this.
Right.
Yeah. So no, this is in no way against the whole people. I am not racist. I in no way believe you should. It's ridiculous to judge somebody based on their skin color. Like, right. It's just absurd. I don't believe in
where they were born, or, here's a quick question for you. Mm-hmm. When we're talking about just the people in general, I feel like this is not the time to be silent. And I'm amazed. I had a conversation with my cousin yesterday and asked, are you appalled about what's being shown in the files that are coming out? And she said, what files? And it's Leslie, this is not an unconscious bias. We're talking about APAC. And I just said that I have friends in Israel, and I love my friends in Israel. I was a part of J-Date. I opened up offices there. So,
I have no problem with Judaism at all. I love Lauren Michaels. All the stuff that I love is Jewish people had tons to do with it. I have no problem with Jewish people at all.
And this is a conversation, Leslie, that I think you should be a part of, because put your views in there, share, because we're just talking. We're not having any biases. What we're talking about is the money that's going back and forth in America. Anyway,
sure.
What was I saying?
You were focused on that, and I was focused on her question about how to get involved. So I'm sorry, I didn't want to lose the last comments. It's just uniteduprising.com is the easiest way.
Yeah. So I'm surprised about how many people don't realize what's going on.
That's what it was, yeah.
And my personal opinion is you have to be aware. And one of the things that we've heard for the last, I think, 10 years at least, is woke, especially in Florida. I live in Florida. Florida is where woke comes to die. And what that literally means to me is don't educate yourself. Don't share. Leave a conversation if it ruffles your feathers, instead of trying to understand the conversation. Right. So what is your view of woke? And then what is your view on how do we decipher the real from the noise?
Sure. It's been so long since I've even thought about woke as an actual term that would hold weight to me, because I just kind of knew it's a divide and conquer tool to me, as far as I'm concerned. It's a rage button to say woke, because it means a different thing to different sides. I guess to me, woke just means using your heart, listening to your heart, and being maybe more emotionally oriented and less pragmatic. I don't think that's correct, but I think that's probably what the view is that you're reacting out of emotion instead of logic. And whereas the view from the woke person to the opposite, say the conservative, is that everything to you is about, the A's and the B's and not the emotions of it. You don't see humanity. You try to, find logic and stuff, and argue on those sort of principles. But it's not really that. The truth is somewhere in the middle, right? Like we have our things, though. I believe what it is it's A word that meant something at one point, just like liberalism, classic liberalism meant something different. So at one point, woke meant something different. Woke used to just mean sort of like we're aware of conspiratorial behavior. We're aware that there are things that happen that we don't see. And I think, funny enough, they probably took that word and acclimated it into their pantheon of words and turned it into a different thing, which meant what I just explained beforehand. So there's multiple meanings, but it's used as a tool by powers and interests just to rage bait us against each other. Essentially, that's what it is now.
Got it. Why is it that every other country is stepping up and removing people based on what's going on in the files today, yet we just witnessed someone have a tantrum in Congress that would not be accepted by anybody else? So kind of go through that. And they say if everything was released, our entire system would crumble. I say burn it down.
Yeah, I think that's a sentiment to most of the people that are in the position you have to know at least a bit. I think you already expressed what the problem was really a few minutes ago when you said you had spoke to somebody and they said they don't know what you're talking about. That's the problem. In doing what people like you and I do, or just anybody who's conscious in this stuff, we seek out international news and such for the most part. The average American does not curate or seek out their news. Their news is presented to them in a particular way, and it's usually blurps and bits, right? With a little package on it, and they don't really care because at the end of the day, that's not their thing. And stuff sucks, but it's always kind of sucked. There's a lot of that mindset, so people just don't know. I think that's why the reaction isn't happening. And to further compound that, then you have the people who are freaking out, and rightfully so, because the stuff in there is abhorrent. I don't know how many times I've like wept and like just cried about that stuff. I'm sure tons of people have. That's not to get like sympathy, like no, really, it's devastating stuff to read. So we're fervently upset. So you have the majority part of the population has no idea. Have I read? Oh no, I don't think anybody can. I think anybody that claims that they could or did is no way.
But
it's so much.
You've actually looked at it?
I've went through quite a bit, but I'm in no position to give like any sort of overview on what was just released. I have no idea. I'm going through. I mean, I'm listening. The difference with I'm not listening to what they're saying. Right, I'm looking for the way that I love to operate is I look for the middle part. Math doesn't lie to me. So if I find something that happens in pattern recognition, so if you find something that happens 5 or 6 times, and you find something that only happened once or twice, well, it's probably going to be that 6th time thing, So it's just easier to see I forgot where I was going with that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
No. I asked if you had read all the files. And
but I follow the patterns that I see, and I'm like, okay, well, clearly there's something here, and then I try to just suss it out if it's trying to be flipped and used as something, if there's something to it, because some of it just doesn't really matter. Some of it's just silly stuff. So, but I'm going through just like everybody else and trying to find things relevant to myself. And I would say to your listeners that something that I did when the files dropped, I added it to our Discord server and stuff, so you can go through and go straight to the DOJ site there. I searched my my hometown. I didn't do my name because there's no reason to do that. But I did my hometown and my state and stuff. It was the first thing I decided to do. And my hometown popped up with a document that was the Catholic church that I would go to in the place that I live. I moved out of that location when I was 5, but I remember going there. I remember the name. I remember the interior. And that's listed as an address in the file. And then when you click on the actual attached document, it's got a trucking manifest. So it's got these large orders that tie back to his Oro Ranch Corporation thing. I won't get super into it, but that just goes to show, just by me looking into areas that I'm familiar with and things that are easier for me to put pieces together locally to me, I was able to find that. First going down the first page. So I would implore upon you all listening, if you're like, what do I do with this stuff? If you want to keep digging more in a journalistic sense, just do that. Go in and start searching towns, places you were, things you might have more insight on, and see if you can find some sort of connections.
So I'm going to read Aaron Gibson's question to you. He'd like to know, is our current state of political status democracy or masked monarchy?
It's a corporation with employees right now. It's like Disneyland, and they're playing to the public, and the public is the patron, so they can't hold them accountable because it's a private owned company. So Disney doesn't like your attitude. That's essentially how I see it. So it's definitely not a democracy anymore. I don't believe your vote. I believe that there's things where if you vote like in landslide overwhelmingly, there is a piece of democracy left, a piece.
Right.
But it's so small at this point. It's inconsequential, especially if nobody knows what's going on ever. So I can't say we're in a democratic state at this point.
Do you think we're going to have an election in November? And do you trust that?
Pattern-wise, my rational self would say, yeah, we're going to have one. My spiritual side says no. My spiritual intuition keeps telling me no. That this was the last one in the traditional sense. Make of that what you
Right.
will. And if nothing's changed, I'm going to be focused on the overall structure change. So I'm not concerned about who's voting for who and why in the midterm federal stuff or any of that. It's not relevant to me. I'm not trying to say don't vote because it doesn't matter. But if we're being honest here, I'm not saying it in a nihilistic sense. I'm saying it doesn't matter because we let it get to such a crappy place that it doesn't matter because it just doesn't matter in the logistic sense at this point. In order to fix that, we're going to have to build the system all the way back up from the ground up, which is like why the United Uprising has a steward trust money section. It's got a spiritual pillar. It's got the civic pillar. And it's got a research pillar. And I'm on ResearchGate. I'm accredited. I've got an ORC ID number, several things like that.
The only reason why we know history the way it is because somebody wrote something down. Doesn't mean it's right. Absolutely, Peter. Absolutely. Yep. So one of the things that bothers me and concerns me is that this has gone on for multiple decades. So what we're seeing now is a reckoning because there was a campaign promise to release the files. And then once they recognized that they couldn't hide things within the files, then all of a sudden everybody started spinning out of control.
Right.
How do you actually compartmentalize Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Bush, Biden, and now Trump? Because it did go through all of those. If I'm correct?
Yeah,
there were accusations about what's happening today through all of those administrations. All of those administrations failed. I'm going to say this real quick about Jackie Hallberg. Sorry about this. I strongly believe that we need to listen to women and hear women. And the reason why I'm calling out Jackie Hallberg is because several women have told me that online that they get harassed. And I said, really? I never get harassed. And then Jackie did a live on TikTok. And I was just watching the disgusting things that the men were saying. And she had to ignore it. You and I don't get that.
Nope.
And the reason why I said we need to listen to them is because when she first said even just that, I was like, that's weird. That doesn't sound right. But then I saw it. And I recognized that they're living a different reality than you and I. The same thing with marginalized people. they're living
Sure.
a different reality.
Mhm.
So yeah, I want to say that Jackie, there she is. Please listen to women, and
Hello. Yes,
I
please listen to women.
yeah,
Listen to them and listen to women. So much of this system structure from the elite going back to antiquity has been built on disparaging and breaking down women. I personally believe that in a spiritual sense and even just in a general sense that women, for the longest time were the top. We went to them for they create. They brought peace, stability, things like that, right? We took care of them. They were this spiritual gift, this amazing gift, and we were the protector. And in turn, like, I can always feel like my nervous system kick on when I start talking about stuff like that. But we're meant to protect them. They protect us, and we just become this thing, right? It's like the divine feminine and the masculine clicking together. It's incredibly important. But even on a non-woo-woo sense, if just for everything, we've pushed them out of everything that they really were built for. And we have sort of convinced everybody that it's the opposite and go shush, don't talk about that. But it takes away so much power. And I don't know why, and I'm doing research and have for years, but the elite are terrified of women. They are terrified of women. I don't know why. I'm trying to figure it out desperately. I've got some stuff that I speculate, but they're terrified of women.
do you think
Which just
that,
tells me how powerful they are.
why? Do you think that that's why? Hold on for a second. So it's on both sides of the fence. Greasy intent from others is not a gender thing. So I'm the only one that's not getting harassed.
Yeah, no, we're not.
It makes
I'm not.
sense. Yeah,
I get it.
It makes sense. I just happened to be on the live with Jackie, and I saw it occurring. So that's why I was able to. Israel #1 Malak will save us.
Ooh.
What does that mean?
Moloch is a deity or practice of a sacrificial practice. The Bohemian Grove thing, the owl. He's trolling you. He's a troll.
Okay.
Or they're trolling you. Yeah, they're mixing Israel with the stuff that's in the Epstein files, stuff that has to do with Solomon and all that.
Got it.
But no, I'm not a pick me guy, woman hater. Or a man hater. That's not what I'm saying. I see it. He saw it once. So William saw it once. Okay, he'll saw it once. I do this all the time. And before I did this, I ran successful companies. It's all digital based and stuff. So I've seen it for years. So in the sense of what we're talking about, at least the disparity it's very real. I don't think it's all men, all people, but the numbers again that's just what I see. I see them having to kind of fight for their life in these lives. Yeah. Takes away dignity. It takes away dignity, because it's not cute at a certain point. And a lot of men don't know when to stop. Not all, but a lot don't. Same with women, but that we will. But I've just said we weren't talking about that in that moment. So that's not what that was meant to be. Was to go against one gender or the other. It's just an explanation of why I think women are so important and we should listen to them. Is they're just so diminished in everything. And I think it's silly. I think that's why we're in a lot of the trouble that we're in currently. I think if they had a bigger seat at the table or the whole table for certain parts, that stuff would be infinitely better. And I think that actually shows
a woman would ever be president of the United States?
In our new one, yeah, they will be.
Okay. All right. So you see hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't have hope, then you have to. You have to. I've had a really weird, difficult life. And that's all that kept me going, because in a very, very specific way, I had so much trauma and so fast that I had to keep that. But it's not just a tool that doesn't mean anything. It helped me realize that there is always actually hope. It just can't be hope with sitting and doing nothing. We also got to be real. So my hope always compounds with also calling some stuff out and not just getting stuck in this cycle.
Absolutely. So I am stuck, by the way, and that's why I'm so slow to ask questions, because I feel bad that I insulted Leslie, and
oh, no.
She felt as if we were biased against the Jewish community.
I can tell it's bothering you. I can see it on you and stuff. And so I watched a little bit of one of your other episodes and saw some interaction you had with a friend. I can tell you're a very, very like deeply caring friend and person.
Oh,
So I know that that's sitting with you right now. And
it is.
I'm sorry for you for that.
I can't let it go because I'm about to cry because that's not my intent.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the show is that we can talk to each other without leaving.
Yeah.
You know, and my friend, I think that Javier is probably one you're talking about. The mega supporter.
Oh, I could transfer the knowledge of absolutely scared of women can bring. Oh,
What happened?
what's going on here? Yeah, my comments are being odd, so I'm kind of dependent on you. Sorry.
Okay. Um, I think you were talking about the show that I had with the mega supporter.
Um, oh, maybe I didn't get that. I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying there's something going on. I got you. No, sorry.
Oh,
No, I don't think I got quite that far because I put it on just a bit before you and I kind of came on here. So I didn't have the time to get there. So, but I'll watch it because I enjoyed it. And she was lovely, by the way. It was your friend who was talking about your career. To help with the career at a certain point.
You're talking about one of my like shorts.
It might have been. I don't think so. I think it was an hour live. I'll tell you what it was next time. But anyway,
Okay.
the point is, I could see how much she cared about you, you care about her, and that you're a very empathetic, feeling person.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, my desire is to just share our knowledge. And I love Leslie, and it's sitting with me so hard that she thinks that we were being biased when we were just having a
She's right
conversation.
here. She says, "I'm still listening." To
Okay.
Bill, who made a
Thank
good
you,
point.
Leslie. Okay. Now I can go on with my show because I was gonna hang up on you, Chance, and say, let me
I was
call
gonna honestly,
Aaron
but
so I can
that's
call
the whole
Leslie.
point of what I'm doing. Is to find commonality with people, like get back to like neighbors, and if those things matter.
Yes, absolutely. And breaking down those walls and really understanding who we are as people. So now I can get back into the show. So you, my friend, and Aaron Parnas have said that you're both having problems with TikTok.
Really?
And yeah, Aaron said right now TikTok is, so did Joanne Reed, by the way. Because I follow independent news now. I don't follow,
Mhm.
CNN and MSNBC, or definitely I can't do Fox.
Yeah.
And that's because it's more propaganda than news.
Mhm.
And people don't remember that they got sued for lying to us for billions of dollars, right? By
Yeah.
Dominion and somebody
I'm
else. I
not
forget.
sure. I know CNN too. Remember the whole wag the dog, or the tail that wags the dog thing, where they got caught faking the stuff. It goes around everywhere. I don't trust any of it at all. But the majority of the public still does. But Aaron Parnas, this is another alleged thing because I genuinely don't know. I get concerned. Not because of the Epstein file stuff. So his dad's in the Epstein files, and has went to jail for some campaign stuff to do with Trump. Had to do with Bannon and a couple other things. So he's real in that system. So I tend to not watch a lot of what he's saying. But regardless, the sentiment of there being the issues on TikTok is real. That is absolute. It was bad. It wasn't really, really bad before. But yeah, now it's substantial. You can't really do anything. The algorithm is completely different. And nobody knows what it is because they don't have to explain it to you. So everybody got
Right,
very used to, through trial and error, figuring out what was going on TikTok with the last owners, and
right.
through iterations, and we had to figure it out. And so now
It's
we've got to
gotten
start over.
worse.
It's terrible.
They're censoring everything. Do you
Yeah.
feel safe?
Um, I'm ridiculous. I mean, no, I guess like my logical brain, like, no, for me, I do. I feel okay, but no, I think the majority of people are not safe. I think
When I
we
say
have the
safe, I
illusion of
mean,
freedom, you know.
do you feel safe because you're so vocal?
Oh, yes, yes. That's why I'm vocal. That's why I'm vocal. I don't know how many like I watched this documentary on Netflix called The Octopus, I think. Octopus Murders is a recent
Okay.
one. Okay. This guy in the 90s, and this is such a like, this is the story type thing. This is always the same similar sort of thing. This guy found something real interesting, had to do some secret government stuff, right? So he goes around, he's interviewing people privately and secretly because he doesn't want nobody to know, right? And he ended up dead, in a hotel room after he had found a little bit too much. So I don't understand. I never understood why people did that. Why you would go, because you're not safe. They know where you are. So yes, I'm very, very vocal because I believe it keeps me safer. So to all the people that kind of come at me and are like, you're an idiot for doing this, quite the contrary.
Yeah.
Quite the contrary. All of you saying take it offline and go meet at a McDonald's. Now you're getting into issue territory. So no, just be vocal. Be vocal. Love life. Nothing. I have no intentions for self-harm. Love it. I'm not a bad guy. Love being here. Stuff's great. Not scared at all. In fact, I enjoy exposing what these people do. I love it. I enjoy exposing and
So
makes my heart feel good.
The show that I had with Javier, I'll give you like a quick overview. He's from Venezuela on asylum, but he's a MAGA supporter.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, but he's a friend of mine.
Okay.
And so I brought him on, and during that show, all the electricity in my house went out. And I was like freaking out. I called, FPL. They said there's no outages, your bill is paid, because that's the first thing I thought. And then it came back on, then it went out again. And I literally freaked the fuck out. Like I thought they're coming to get me. And I had advertised a lot. For me, advertising is what I do, do what you throw it out on TikTok and, a newsletter here and there, like not paid advertising, but I was very
I'm a brand man, so good stuff, by the way. I loved your ads. Those were nice. I enjoyed it.
You did? Thank you.
I did.
Thank you very much.
No
and I was afraid, I was freaking out about you because all of a sudden my messages, you can't receive messages on TikTok anymore. So I got like this thing that said you can't send them messages. Mm-hmm. And I was like, did he block me? Or did he get shanked? Like, what happened?
You want to hear this story?
Yeah.
So, all right. So, yeah, they don't like me. I track the trends and I see when, the different entities are watching me and stuff. So, but they don't like me. So anyway, so I was just talking to a friend. Just not even about anything political, really. But I had a video that was doing well, and I started sending out some links to join the Discord server. And I can do that because the people are messaging me. So then I have hundreds of message requests. If I want to copy and paste the same thing for those people to view, that's my prerogative. That in no way goes against their standards of TikTok, because it couldn't. That would be ridiculous. If they're reaching out to me, you can't say I'm spamming somebody. And if you say that it was an accident, do better and have better protocols. Anyway, so we were just talking about stuff, and we were sharing back and forth pictures of just like clothes and stuff, and just random memes. And it just hit us with a tag that said believe it or not, said inappropriate child / sexual content. So I took screenshots of it all, of course. So to me, I was like, did they really just do that, knowing that that's everywhere being said against them? And they're going to throw that at me? I didn't know. I was like, is this a tongue-in-cheek way of them letting me know that it's them watching me and messing with my accounts? Because what other reason would an automated system or anything even say something like that? That's so completely relevant in the news currently with the Epstein files. How many of you people out there have ever gotten anything like that on a private messaging thing on TikTok?
I've never, but I'm new to TikTok.
I don't think that happens a lot. I think that's a new thing for TikTok. New people in TikTok. So, but yeah, I got it back because I'm resourceful, like Kevin Gates, right? I'm good at what I do, so I'll figure it out. Whereas the other people get bored. I got time for all of them. I'll sit and do what they're doing too. And a lot of them are using really bad bots, automated bots, and I'm better than that. So they're gonna have to sit down and actually do the stuff at a desk, and I love that too. I love that I'm making them actually have to do some work.
Make them work.
But they're gonna work for that. But so back to what you were saying though, that is a tactic. That's a psychological. It's a psyop tactic that is meant to freak you out and to elicit the response it did in you. And most people, when faced with that, and if they have some sort of even further confirmation in the situation, are going to tend to leave it alone and never touch it again. And that's, if that was the situation for you, which I would venture to guess probably was that's exactly what it was intended to, is they didn't want anybody having little alerts and, clips and reels of a, maybe potentially a MAGA supporter, hearing certain things and being like, okay, hold on. However that went, maybe they picked up some keywords involved in it and watched it and then started messing with you.
Right.
That's kind of my assessment on it. Or it could have just been coincidence, you know?
So earlier today, during our show, when we were talking about women, you said that your nerves, your hands started to tingle or something. You want to talk about that? Why?
So this is kind of a deeper thing. So I had a lot of early life trauma. I almost died 3 times when I was 3. Back to back to back to back. Been in an accident, lost my left eye. This is a prosthetic.
Your eyes
everywhere. This is prosthetic, yeah. I was shot in the face and chest with a shotgun. I was in a 3-wheeler accident. Like, this is in 1988 when I was 3. It was in a 3-wheeler accident. I threw a barbed wire fence. Slit here. And that's when you said you want to talk about it, that's where this started. So when I was 3 and that accident happened, we ran it, we hit the accelerator wrong, whoever I was riding with, who was also a younger person. It was the 80s, y'all.
Right.
So I went into this fence and woke up, and I remember bits, but not much. But the recount goes, I remember being covered in blood. A horse had woken me up, trying to eat my hair, basically. Pick my head up, dropping it back down. So I got up. My family member was under the 3-wheeler, and he said that when he looked at me, I had what's called an arterial gush. Blood's just going off to the side.
Yeah.
So I looked at him. He had the wheel stuck on his leg. Accelerator's locked, so it's just running on his leg. So I guess I ran over to him and kicked and lifted the 3-wheeler off of him somehow.
You were 3 years old?
I was 3 years old. Yeah, 3, almost 4. So, but my rational, pragmatic mind says, well, the 3-wheeler is probably like teetered in some particular way that just a little bit of leverage force applied. They tell me over and over that's not the case. It was completely upside down seat onto him the way he was tangled in. That I somehow was able to, him pushing and me combined as the 3-year-old lifted it off of him. So I don't know. I'd like to think that might be actually a real thing. I don't think I'm a superhero type thing, but there is a phenomenon that happens
with adrenaline
to a very few amount of people. Yeah, it's not even just adrenaline. It's almost like your brain decides to give you front end control of your autonomic system, your nervous system, meaning the things that happen automatically that you don't have to make happen, goosebumps, things like that. But it also controls your heart rate, adrenaline, things like that, pupil dilation. And so in that moment, it's very possible that I gained the ability to do that and was able to muster up a couple different factors that other people can't. The second thing involved, so I got it off of them. The second thing to hear in that is that I had the arterial gush. I'd never got any surgery for it. By the time I got to the doctor, they said it was fine. They just put sutures in and I went home. You're not fine after an arterial gush. You're just not. So the only other reasonable explanation for that is that in the arterial gush, there could be stuff sort of in there. It kind of clots, right? And then you're good. Maybe the doctor didn't know, didn't see. And then I just got really lucky that clot turned eventually into like tissue that stayed permanently. So those are the two. It could be like, ooh, he's a superhero, or it could be like, or his body did some really crazy stuff in a medical sense to get him to that point to be able to do that. So that's what when I say the spiritual stuff, it's weird for me because it's not just a like feeling in my mind. I feel it through my body. I can turn goosebumps basically on and off. I can lower my blood pressure or raise it. Obviously other people can, but like within the difference here is the amount of time it takes, I guess. I can do these things very, very fast. But it also, since I can do that, I don't live in a state of anxiety anymore because I can control it. more so, I think, than the next person. I didn't used to be able to. I was a wreck for a long time, but I figured out how to take control of it through the other stuff.
I have anxiety, and it's horrible.
Yeah, it's debilitating. It is debilitating. People don't understand that. The normal points of anxiety with people is that something happens, you're worried, it passes, you move on. People who have anxiety issues and disorders is that it's still with you hours and hours later, even when you forgot what you're having anxiety about. And
Right.
that's really, really tough. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. But so, yeah, when I say I get feelings, so now I'm able to tune in. I believe you have a biofield. We are electromagnetic beings. We have biofields that resonate with each other, touch other stuff. They pick up signals. We're like RF, I don't know if you've ever heard of Sabrina. I think her name is Sabrina Wallace.
Yes.
She's okay. I just recently found her. I'm doing all my videos, and everybody's like, okay, Sabrina Wallace 2.0 or whatever. Like, I have no idea who that lady was. Which is great. I love finding those because you're like, okay, she's clearly knows exactly what I'm talking about then, because it doesn't just end up like that. But we have biofields, and so I can pick up stuff. I can pick up other people. I can pick up intention. And then just the normal stuff that most people have with goosebumps, like auditory, hearing a really moving song. Like I can have that feeling sort of with different things. So that's what that was about.
Interesting. So you've overcome your anxiety. You've overcome the trauma. Do you actually ever overcome trauma?
Or no, you integrate it. You integrate it.
And what does that mean?
Or some people want to say transmutate it, whatever. You integrate it and accept it into what you are. And instead of being mean to that aspect of yourself or disgusted of it, you integrate and accept what you have to, let go of the things you can't change, and you try to find what the reasoning was that you went through that trauma, how it made you stronger, focus on that, integrate the good parts, dump out the old. You're still, you're aware of it. I mean, that's kind of how it's worked for me. I was able to take it and turn it into tools for myself, and not look at myself as a victim, but look at somebody who's gained a really insane amount of skill sets because of those traumas. So don't want them to happen to people, but there is a way that you can integrate it into yourself and make yourself whole with it and be even stronger after the trauma.
Got it. Someone just called me an egghead. So I guess I am being trolled. Yay! Because I'm looking at
you made it. You made it. They followed us around.
Because I'm looking at you and I on stage. I'm like, which one of us looks like an egg? I'm like, oh, that must be me.
No.
So yeah, I got my. Yeah. You don't look like an egghead. That would be me. But back to our topic with United Uprising and everything that's going on. What do you think people are missing that you're seeing today? And how do you two things? What are people missing? And then how do you balance your life? Because I'm looking at the news 24/7, and it has me like freaked. Like I'm always on edge and getting angry. How do you balance that without screaming?
That's a weird one. That's a one I can't really explain to like how somebody else would do it. I'm probably am not the best to myself as far as overextending and taking on a lot of emotional stuff, and it's probably not healthy for me. So I don't have a real good balance of that. I'm just going to be honest with you. The only way that I'm capable of doing what I do is by being crazy, is by being that person who puts way more time, and sits in the really difficult stuff that like messes with your mental state. I think I just tend to do that more than most, but I just don't run from it. And then what was the other thing you asked?
I asked you two questions. First, how do you deal with it? The constant.
What are they missing? What are they missing?
Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of people aren't really. A lot of people know that something's not right. I think the major problem lies in a generational sort of tolerance and way of just how we work. So like And again, you all, this is not, I'm not going after an entire specific, I'm just saying, say the boomer generation, you know, whatever, had just a different way to look at stuff. Like, you don't talk about politics, you don't talk about religion, right? That was known. You don't make waves, you keep your head down, you take care of your family. I think this generation has realized that even though that sounds beautiful and it makes for a really good movie, you've just effectively become a really good tool for the system. That's all that ever was. Shush, make us money. That's all that was. And they packaged it and made you feel like a good man doing it. And the woman could feel good doing it at home, making her man dinner from that new, you know, stove she got from this company. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but they never left that. So it's not that they're missing, it's that they're choosing to be, most people are choosing to be willfully ignorant. They're choosing to be willfully ignorant of it, meaning like they could try to go into it, but they don't want to. They don't want to disturb their inner peace and stuff. And I know I sound a little harsh right now, but it kind of is at this point. I am a little frustrated of it because I'm tired of hearing that, and I don't believe that's acceptable or allowable anymore. I don't believe we all just get the right to say we're opt out of it completely, because we did that in a very poor way, and we didn't manage. There was no oversight on the opposite. So everybody protecting all of that so well for themselves for that amount of time has put us all into a position now where we don't have the luxury to all be able to do that. And
Right.
certain people, they can do something, and certain people they can't. Well, that's right. So none of us can make that first priority at this point to have absolute mental peace. Sorry. Because it's going to get a whole lot worse, I hate to tell you. So that is that. And I think that a lot of people cannot fathom how something could be so evil.
Yes.
So bad, so evil, these systems. Hold on real quick. I think my audio just went off.
No, it actually sounds better.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Good. We'll stick with that. Okay.
All right. So Samantha says we need to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And
Same as my road dog.
Who?
She is my one of my partner at United Uprising, and she rocks. She rocks.
And then
Yay,
Dixon
Sam.
Road says grateful to be a part of this moment. This is a conversation I think that we just need to have. I mean, in a very respectful way. Yeah. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to have people freak out and leave and say they're not into politics. But this is not politics. This is, from what I've seen, this is one of the worst horror stories that I've ever read. And if you are not, especially if you have children, if you have children, if you're not, if it's so bad that you can't look at it, then it needs to come to light.
Yep.
And I have seen things. These are literal videos that are on the DOJ website that have made me cry.
Yeah, you're having the appropriate reaction right now that other people should too.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
One of the, and I know you've seen this one, but it's this little girl who has like her arms taped, and she's looking up at the camera with like bright eyes because she thinks she's playing a game. And then the next picture is her with her face burned and her teeth pulled out.
Yeah. How do you let go of something like that? How do you forget that?
But people are saying, I'm not, I don't want to get involved.
Oh, well.
Are you joking?
So they're effectively telling you that they're okay with you carrying that terrible, twisted emotional burden on your own. Don't ask me for it. That to me is inappropriate.
I don't want to think that. I just don't think that people are tuned in, or that we become so you know which word I'm trying to say. That it feels like it's not real. And we've been told every single minute, fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news, that it's just ingrained in us to think, oh, that's not real. That can't be real. That's somebody else's problem. No, it's not someone else's problem. This is what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And to be unaware and I'm going to insult you right now, but I also think that this is it breaks color barriers. First of all, because it's a power thing. Because Diddy, was complicit in what he did. I didn't believe Cassie at first. Sorry, Jackie. Until it all came out, I was like, "Oh, that's impossible." Until you read the horrific things that he's done. But this administration is, in my opinion, what I would consider to be white privilege. Because had it been Barack Obama, he'd already be impeached and under the jail. I don't think that a woman could get away with this. I don't think that a person of color could speak to Congress the way Pam Bondi did. Now, prove me wrong.
No, maybe not. I'd say maybe not in those particular positions. And I guess what I mean by that is just because with the people who are running the show behind the scenes, this is my opinion. You don't have to agree, but Barack and Kissinger and all that stuff and his history and stuff. He didn't take an exorbitant amount of APAC money. I don't think he might have. My point is he's still in bed with it too, right? He was used, so I don't think the color factor in a real sense or even in a tool sense from them would come and play with Brock. But I get what you're saying about the stuff with the senators. I think it's there, but I think it's like theater. I see what you're saying, and I think it's real for the screen, but then it in turn goes into the zeitgeist of America, right? And then it actually affects people and how they perceive stuff. But I believe a lot of what we're seeing play out that maybe looks that way with ICE and immigration and stuff, and it's looking very white supremacist and all that. Like, it's made to be that way intentionally. It's not like you guys are catching a glimpse of something white guys are trying to keep hidden. No. That whole thing is very much meant to look very bad. And that's my opinion. I'm not saying I just don't support all law enforcement or whatever, but it seems like it's made to look. I think there's less racism than we realize, in the sense of if it was just us, right? And we're all hanging out at a festival. But now when we listen to them tell us the recap of what happened at the festival, it's probably going to sound pretty racist, right?
Right.
I think that's a huge part of the problem. But racism is very real. Let's not kick around. And there's stuff that everybody does that perpetuates it. So including self-perpetuation.
Absolutely. And what I love is, and I want people to really get this, the people that are like, why are we having this conversation right now? Is that I just said to him, this is what I think. And he said, I beg to differ. I understand racism exists, but I think that there's a deeper issue here. This is a conversation. This is how you learn from each other. And if you and I were sitting, like you said, if we were at a festival together, eating corn dogs, I don't think half of America is racist.
Yeah,
I think half of us are ill-informed. And I think that if you see what's going on right now and you're not disturbed at all levels, then I'm concerned about you.
Yeah. I mean,
really concerned.
Something I will say that did concern me is because this is the thing. People will try to kind of put their thumb on me and know which way I'm going to fall. But see, since I'm not partisan, you never know. The stuff with ICE, I just feel like nobody was nearly as outraged until it was white people. But what happened to them was terrible, horrible. But that also concerned me too, like there's just all these facets. I mean, granted, we got other stuff we got to worry about right now, but that is part of it. That's what United Uprising is. It is the answer to all this, to show you that you don't have to have a definitive stance in one position or the other. There can be things wrong with something that was good and good about something that was wrong that was happening. There doesn't have to be absolutes. Only Siths deal in absolutes, friends. That is the problem. Right. And so long as we have that mentality, It's nothing is going to change. But to be honest, I feel like we're being kind with the stuff that we're talking about right now, because it's very quickly getting past any of that being relevant in the immediate sense. I'm very concerned, friends, that we gotta start doing something, especially with the Epstein files.
Yes.
There needs to be something, or it's going to get much, much worse next time. And I can't have that.
Are you brave enough to to invite somebody up?
So what?
Are you brave enough to invite somebody up? Because I can invite someone up to the stage to ask us questions. I was just going to put the link out there.
Yeah, I mean, we can, I suppose. I just don't have a lot of time, and I'd hate to like feel rushed or like I didn't get the good, and
I'll ask my cousin to come up.
I'll say, because that's the whole point of like what I do. I have to do it every day and deal with and be like a referee sort of moderator for
He's driving
conflicting
home.
ideologies.
So if anybody wants to ask a question, we've been on for an hour and we're about to wind down. But if you want to come up, if you want to have something positive or just a question for Chance that I haven't asked, please join us. Aaron, Jackie, Steven Jackson is driving home, so he can't. Peter,
I'm coming from Kansas. Nice. And I think I misunderstood your question. I thought you were saying there was somebody that wanted to debate me. I didn't realize.
No.
That's why I answered that way. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that right now.
No, not to debate, but like Leslie, anyone.
Well, yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Let's open the dialogue. I rarely invite people up on stage when I'm in a show, but I think right now is a great moment. And if anyone wants to take me up on it, let's do it. So we talked about the files, and as you said, we're being very, very we're walking a fine line, and I bet both of us could, go nuclear on these subjects. Your daughter was protesting, and I found that to be so refreshing. That
oh really?
Oh my God! Like the students, the people are out there. The younger generation is out there standing for something, and others are closing their eyes to it. How did that make you feel?
I'm actually really hopeful about this current generation. I didn't feel quite so great, let's say, a couple of years ago when I wasn't paying as much attention to him. But this is really, I'm just proud of how this has been. It doesn't look like it's an orchestrated sort of thing that's going through these schools. It seems like it's organic from then. And I would say, like, we used to stage walkouts and stuff, but like when I was a kid, we didn't care. We were just skipping. But these kids, I watched them walk up and down. They were actually involved. They were like talking back to the people when people would say something. Like they were believed in what they were saying for the most part. And I was like, okay. I was expecting them to not have anything to say, just be walking with a sign to, a couple of them want to be out of school, but no, they were very like, so it gave me hope. It gave me hope because I love that they all reminded me of me in that moment of that, where everybody else is like, shh, stop, don't make waves. I'm like, no, they're going to hear about themselves. That's what I want. Not in a bad way, but just in a way that lets people know, like, don't mess with me and I will take you to task and I will hold you accountable and we will live in reality. And I love that generation is already sort of establishing that. Like, we're not going to do all that over here. We're going to live in reality, meet me on these terms, the real terms. And so it makes me hopeful. Makes me irritated for the older ones who I feel like are doing the opposite.
Right. So Annie, do you want to come up? I put the link in the comments. I would love to hear what you have to say, especially being in the UK. The UK seems to be taking more action than we are.
Yeah, they are. And that's another thing is we've just accepted, like, that stuff that happened with Pam Bondi the other day. Unacceptable. She spoke to you all that way. I hope everybody realizes that those people are there on behalf of us as representatives. So that vile woman yelled at every single one of you like that with her entitled, knowing absolutely nothing, the Dow self. She
How
yelled
does
at
the
every
Dow?
single one of you like that.
How does the
Would you
Dow?
tolerate that in a public space? Would you let
No.
Payne Bondi talk to you like that at a speedway? I think Payne Bondi would probably get throat checked. So, like, that kind of energy needs to persist. People have this thing, it's on a screen, it's on TV, it's this, and it's not real to us anymore. It's a thing we're separate from. Right? So we're okay with it. She didn't say it to my face, but like they are. They are. You know, they said it to our representatives. It's not a party side like thing. Oh,
Sorry
Will, did you
about
freeze?
that.
I think Will and freeze. No.
No, I didn't
Oh,
freeze.
okay.
Yeah, I was sending the link to Innie because he said he wanted to come up.
Oh, right.
And Trump is king. Okay. Are you able to get more in depth about United Uprising? I'm struggling to hear what the solution given our limitations.
Yeah, and I didn't really get into that, unfortunately. Sorry. So basically, it's
I'm gonna put you on stage and let
Okay.
you talk.
Sure.
Oh,
Okay.
I put me on stage.
Oh,
Sorry
I was
about
gonna
that.
say I look different, man. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. There we go. Okay. So basically, what it is it's just a system of alternative replacement for what currently exists and tools to get us there. So the blueprint, the civic portion of it, is about actual civic action, stuff at low level, getting involved in politics, running for politics, knowing what's happening, holding accountability, and making actual change. Like, so instead of just these people voting on random stuff constantly and you don't know what's going on, like actively know what your town and area needs. And that takes away the corporate hold on us, corporate leverage of, you know, we depend on them for X through the, you know, Z, and we want to take that away from that essentially. So these systems of control that keep us in a place where we can't move and act to act in a position that's best for humanity and not for somebody's pocketbook. Like that's what we're trying to do. Set up solutions for that. So we have the civic side. We do the same thing with spirituality. So instead of using religion as a tool that drives people away, we have a solution in for that too. Same thing with money. Like we want to get rid of the Federal Reserve, the private centralized banking system. We want to return the monetary control and the purse back to where it belongs in this government, and not with a private controlled bank. I don't care if whoever is appointed by a president, doesn't matter. They're still a private company. And they don't have us in interest. We had interest on their money from the first thing that came off that press. So it basically, all of these systems that keep us in a system of like indentured servitude, replace those with things that allow you to still live well and build towards humanity's interest, towards human interest, and not, why do we buy light bulbs that go out, guys? Like, why do we do that? Do you know why? Do you know that the filaments that are originally in the first light bulbs are still in Edison's house burning right now? Yeah, filaments are the little things that burn out in the bulb. They're still burning right now. It's manufactured to fail, because it's the only way a capitalistic society and a capitalistic system can work. It can't have humanity's interest at the top. And then if the capitalistic system is ruling the medical system and the educational system, well, then it's not going to be in the best interest for you to get well and to even be better. They're going to want to keep you sick, right? Same with education. Not beholden on them and make you smarter. So that's what UU is exposing all of that and saying that can't work for you to be better in this world, to be better. It never will, and it cannot. It's not about the communism and capitalism argument. But so UU is the answer to all that, where people go, well, I don't know what we would do. We're setting up real and actual solutions where you would still feel comfortable, not feel like it's a merit-based system, and take care of each other and human needs.
So did you hear about, since we've left the World Health Organization, that they've released cures for HIV and cancer?
Yeah, I did hear that.
Is that reality? I mean, I'm taking everything with a grain of salt at this point. Like, what's going on?
Too. Yeah, I am too. I really don't know. I really don't know at this point, because that just seems ridiculous too. Because these countries aren't all. Sorry, my cat's going.
Go
Quiet,
ahead.
lady. But they're. I'm sorry. Hold just a second. Can you grab the cat? All right. What was I saying? I'm so sorry.
We're talking about the World Health Organization and the cure for cancer and the cure for HIV.
Yeah. Well, he pulled out of. I mean, we pulled out of the World Health Organization on his last term, right? And that didn't happen.
I think he tried to. Why have a
Did he try to? But he didn't.
Don't acknowledge the comments.
So,
I am acknowledging comments.
It's. I would love to think it's very real. I would love to think that since we got our hands out of it, and what we were trying to get out of it and stuff, and you know, those people are actually able to gear that towards really trying to find the cure because they weren't getting assassinated or fired or replaced or whatever for not continuing to grow the money system of being sick and dying. I would love to think that that's true. I would love to think that those bonds were removed from them and they were able to do something beautiful. I would love to think that that's going to be something that shows people like, oh my God, look at the immediate change you can have. Immediate, massive, incredible change. I would hope that that's real. I hope that that's real, and I hope that that continues to the next thing. So people see that you've been lied to your entire life. Everything, all this struggle stuff that you hear about, how nothing can be done. You'd be surprised how much of the world and could literally be fixed within like a half a year if we didn't have to worry about people making money for the sake of making profit. You would be so surprised how so much stuff could be done.
So as we wrap up, what do you want people? What do you want to leave people with?
Man,
and speak your mind as freely as you want.
I mean, like, what do I want to leave with this this podcast, or like the earth?
Just both. Take it whatever way you want. I remember Jackie asked people, where would you want to go if you could be anywhere? And someone said back in time to fix my to make amends or something like that. And
I got you.
You know, she was thinking they were going to say she was thinking that they were going to say the Bahamas, right? But
yeah,
they said back in time. And thank you for calling this the most boring chat ever. That makes me feel great.
I'd say with this, with people, something to leave you with is that do your best to not overcomplicate everything, people, especially when you have all this insanity going on, all of this noise, all of this stuff that's meant to hit your nervous system. Don't overcomplicate everything. Just move. Progress over perfection in all things. So instead of going, I don't have the entire answer, I feel I can't move. No. Start moving. We'll worry about getting it to we'll fine tune it as we go. Also, I would say, please reflect in yourselves about the things that matter to you, the time that you can allocate to it, and self-accountability, and just really realization that a lot of us are still waiting on one particular person or a man or something or a woman to fix it all or give you the ultimate solution. That's how we got in the problem that we're in. So we're all going to have to start thinking very differently. So I would just say, just reflect on that, that we have to change the way that we are as people, and we have to start being self-starters and accountable in an individual sense too. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
I'd like to leave with everyone understanding that we should all be able to have a conversation and open up the conversation to understand the differences that we have and similarities. For those of you out there that are saying Kamala lost, ha ha ha, I appreciate the fact that you're here and that you're commenting, and it does really help the algorithm the more that you do. At 82 Bing, if this is the most boring chat ever, that's great. Thank you very much for commenting. And at Change Med, we read your comments. I was really dialed into Chance and listening to what he said. Unfortunately, I'm a one-man show, so I can't reply to everything in the moment, but I will get back to all of the people that commented today. With Leslie Flowers, thank you very much for staying. It meant the world to me because I am not promoting anti-Semitism. I am not Israel, I am anti the administration and where our funds go. And, I'm someone that's over a certain age that's looking for a job. And, the fact that we have food insecurity in this nation and that we don't take care of our seniors and we don't take care of our education. I think we have one of the worst education systems
Yeah,
ever.
it's very poor.
It doesn't make any sense. And so I, was Epstein an agent for Mossad? I can't say that. I've heard that.
Yeah, it just doesn't reflect how he feels about it. This is me speaking freely, and in no way is him at all. It's alleged, but I mean, I feel like there's good reason to believe so. Again, I'm not hating on a group of anything. I promise you, I'm not. But there are reasons in a pragmatic way to
What is
to be
Mossad?
concerned about it, I guess.
What is
Unfortunately.
Mossad?
Huh?
What is Mossad?
Mossad is Israeli like secret service.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they're the FBI equivalent, I think, or CIA equivalent, something like that.
Got it.
They've worked in tandem with America for a long time, intelligence agency. The Americans go over there to train a lot. That's part of the problem on a whole of the governmental side of Israel is we're concerned of why if we're allies and we're buddies and we're running all these joint things together, why is this other stuff also happening with extortion against us? So they're very real questions. And I also wanted to address your friend too. I'm not anti-Semitic at all. I promise you I'm not. I could never be racist, and I don't generalize an entire people or country. Again, I feel the way that he feels is it's just it's our government too. I hold our government just as accountable. It's just the governmental entities and their corruptness. That's my problem. And then trying to honestly, I feel like it's bad because they'll try to use a religious tone or Judaism as a people and as a religion as a sort of shield which diminishes the struggles that people have actually gone through. Because if you're using it as a shield to defend a bad political choice, that to me, that's where I get upset. So if anything, that's standing with actual Judaism, right? I'm just I think they're also getting sort of not the good deal on that.
Yeah, when I was talking to my friend who is in Israel, and I was sending him the stuff that was going over here, I said, "Did you know any of this?" And he was like, "No," because they're not getting. Yeah, he didn't know that the farmers are going bankrupt, or the shootings.
I hadn't really thought about that. Just the average person on the ground there, what's their exposure to the information? To me, I kind of assumed it just would have been everything we're seeing for the most part. Since America's and their interest is so closely aligned, especially in media,
I think that in other countries like the UK and Germany and all those other countries, Australia is seeing they're reporting on it. I think because our ties are so connected, they may or may not be seeing everything. And remember, the news serves, depending upon where you're getting your news from, they serve up what you want to hear.
Yep.
So that's very interesting. I want to also say that I really appreciate you saying the part about ICE and until it got close to home, people didn't really recognize that you could be shot. That wasn't in someone's purview. Agree, we have one of the worst education systems. I'd want you to take into consideration when you bring up the white privilege. You are creating devices, and that's not what we need. I 100% agree with you at Change Med, and I brought it up. Chance shot me down. not really, but he gave a different perspective, and that's a conversation, right? That's love. That is sharing a perspective that I'm seeing, that he's saying yes, but in this moment, let's not go there, which is kind of what you said.
Right.
In this moment, we are one, and it's more about the power dynamic.
It's not to say that we don't have issues, right, with each other. It's more to say it's prioritizing at this point, everybody, because we do love each other at the end of the day. We have a lot of very bad things, but also please keep in mind that a lot of these bad systemic systems come from them.
Yeah.
The prison industrial complex, the things that keep the liquor stores in the low income areas, those things come from those people. And and a lot of people would say, yeah, exactly, white culture, but like not necessarily. It's money culture, but yeah, but it's white dominated in certain places, right? Of course. But I mean, like, it's the money. The money is that true cause of everything, and then certain people just get wrapped up in it worse. And like, find those things. Like, why is this company putting this thing around me? Why are you trying to keep us emotional? Why are you trying to keep us intoxicated?
Yeah.
And really get those answers. That's what UU is. No more of the way it used to. We watched movies in the 80s and 90s. Somebody asked a question, there would be no answer. Not this generation. We're gonna keep
Samantha.
asking, buddy.
So Samantha's your right hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't she come up? You should have come up when we put the link in the bio.
She can be a little, like, if it's last minute type second right at once, like, I don't want to speak for her, but usually
Yeah.
she'd probably give her an anxiety attack in the moment. Unless she
Yeah,
wants
yeah,
to.
yeah. I
Yeah,
get
I'm
it.
sure she's in it. But she's awesome. She does tons of she sees what we go through. I spend most of my time mitigating tantrums or self-promotion between people. But it's working. And that's not for me being pessimistic. That's just real. That's what it is mostly. People, if they don't have an immediate answer, tend to want to bounce until somebody presents them with that immediate thing.
Right.
Or they want the revolution already to be happening and they can just kind of join in. But again, I implore upon you people that that's not how this is going to work. It's not how
Where
this
do
is
you
going to
want
work.
people to reach you? I put your Linktree bio in all of my
Oh, beautiful.
all of the information I put out there.
Yeah,
What's the best way? Do you prefer Discord? 'Cause I don't understand Discord. So for me,
from a following thing, the Discord right now. I realized that they changed all this stuff and they're going to do like facial recognition stuff, or there's changes coming,
to
and
Discord?
people are very upset about that. Still join with us because we're going to have our own app that's going to have it in it that will be done. So it's taking a little while, but so we're going to keep the Discord there. But I don't want people to be discouraged. We're having an alternative that will also come from there. But go ahead and meet us there. That's the main point. But definitely go to the Linktree website, just uniteduprising.com. Check it out. Come to the server though. Just know, like, if you want to come and get involved, definitely everybody's there to help. There's tons of resources, but the idea is each person is a new node that can add something or help in some way, like, it's more about that than less of me giving you a pamphlet on how to win the revolution. You know what I mean? Like, we're all going to be helping each other. And now I've created a lot of resources and tools that are going to help you feel more comfortable, and same as and other people have. And as it's growing, just independent members, and it's growing and growing, but we got to keep that mentality. You're not going to come into some fiery revolution in a Discord server and we're leaving in the morning, guys. You got to realize that this stuff takes a bit of time, and I just need people to, like, take a breath and, like, just come with us for the ride, and life will be better. We promise you. But yeah,
Excellent.
just definitely anywhere you want to go, Linktree, whatever. But Discord's the main channel to end up in.
Okay. And is there a grassroots boots on the ground initiative?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. So when I started, I kind of had that in the front of where I wanted that more. Given the climate of everything and how stuff is, it has segued to being digital right now. A lot of people don't want to be in public and do this or that, but yeah, ultimately, yes, I want to have locations everywhere. And I don't mean like Turning Point USA sort of thing where it's a strict, rigid. This will always still be a modular place for all people to come and speak. That's the thing. When you start talking about chapters and locations, you feel like kind of culty or whatever, because you have that one thing and you're doing it and you're doing your rituals. That's not this. It basically it'll just be kind of like a cool little area. Yeah, use name will be attached to it, but it'll be for anybody that wants to come and talk, figure out stuff that is important for their local area, because it's going to change wherever you are geographically, etc. So, but yes, we
And
want
what's
it to
the
be physical
biggest
boots on the ground.
misconception about United Uprising?
Huh?
What's the biggest misconception about United Uprising?
That Tide really is that, one, we're feds. that the government, that this is ran by the government, and 2, that we're racist. Or that we're not racist enough, oddly enough. Like that, those 3. I know you asked for 1, but I gave 3.
Okay. All right. I'm going to end now. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to stay or are you going to leave? Because my outro is like 3 minutes.
I can stay. We can talk after.
Okay. All right. Everyone out there, thank you very much for joining. I hope you gathered love and information in the sharing of this. I hope you left with something solid, and I hope that we're more aware. Much love to everybody.
Appreciate y'all.
This is my outro. Check you out later. Stay for a second.
Confusion, deceit and lies. What else will you try? Lies, lies, lies. How many per day? Lies, lies, lies. How much more can you say? You say it's about protecting the children, but the math doesn't work that way. If it was really about the children, you'd be chasing predators, not throwing love away. It's not about right or wrong. It's not about what you say. If it was really about the children, why won't you save them today? If it was about the children, why do thoughts and prayers replace change? How many names on the pavement? How much blood counts as faith? Oh, it's not about immigrants or drugs. That story falls apart. You don't chase truth across borders while you pot and poison at the heart. How many times can you hide the facts? How many times can you choose distract? The money's gone, the nation's split. Still you lie and call it grit. I look to you with a swallowing tear, living in hope, erasing fear. The money's gone, the nation's divided, but you, my friend, let's get united. Let's get united.